Yo, what's up guys? So today was the main event of the Benelux Extravaganza, where the people from the Netherlands, Belgium and Luxembourg, I think Luxembourg, all played and battled it out to become the next Extravaganza champion. And I did win, but I got 5th place. I went 6-1 with the best deck ever, Phantom Knight Burning Abyss, featuring multiple Burning Abyss cards on a 76 attendee tournament. I'm going to talk about matchups in a little bit. I'm going to talk main, side, extra, all the good stuff. Give some shoutouts. It's going to be fun. So yesterday I took 2nd place on the giant card event with Bird Up, and I'm going to get not a giant card but a little giant card. It's going to be in the back somewhere. Cool. And I really like playing Bird Up. I have a deck profile up on my channel as well. But I was really new to the deck and I didn't really trust it for the main event. So I decided that I wanted to play something else. I first set my focus on Eldritch, but I soon realized that that's boring. Going from I don't want to think anymore with Bird Up, I went to think even harder with PK, because this is a really hard deck. No, I chose PK eventually. I was really doubting what I was going to play, but eventually I've just figured this deck is gonna be nuts. It kinda is. It's really cool. I really like it still. There are a lot of new cards in here. My build has changed a bit. I got tips from Joshua Oosters as well. For my matchups, round 1 I lost versus Max van Everseel. Yet again, 3rd time in the same week. I'm so fucking brain dead now. Max, I love you. I don't ever want to duel you again. 2nd round I played against Prank Kids. A little bit back and forth. 3rd game Nibiru saved me, so it happens. 3rd game I played against Virtual World with a nice top deck of Forbidden Droplets on the VFD. I could easily win that game. 4th match was against Assam, some Suffer YGO on Twitch, a link in the description. He played Drytron Megalith. I also beat him yesterday. I beat him today again, kind of sad because my deck wasn't as good as of a matchup as yesterday. I kind of really wanted him to win, in all honesty, because I beat him yesterday, and I honestly, after the last round 1, it kind of hit me bad. I really wasn't motivated. So I kind of wanted him to win, but he just didn't have good hands again, and sadly. So I won. Oh well, I have to keep playing Yu-Gi-Oh now, I guess. 5th round was Invoked Dogmatica. Or the 3rd game I just did Anti-Spell and he just couldn't play for like 8 turns, and I was eventually kicking him after going through his hand traps, but we still won. Round 6 was against Yuri Lansman, another friend of mine who's been on the channel before, playing Eldritch Stem. I won the Daryls, which was really nice. Then game 2 he won, and game 3 after a very insane super big brain IQ play, calculating the correct battle damage, I managed to do 100, which was all he had left, and I won. And the 7th round was really surprising. This guy sits down, he says, "Wait, you have a YouTube channel, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do have a YouTube channel." He's like, "Yeah, I know you." I'm like, "Wait a second, my last video was Bird Up. Are you a Bird Up player?" And he was like, No. So he played Bird Up, and I beat Bird Up, which is quite an interesting way to finally end this tournament. It was a wild ride. I played Yu-Gi-Oh for 2 days straight. I'm brain dead now. I'm super tired. Let's go into the deck profile. So yeah, it's still really a lot like the deck list that I posted before, but it's kind of different now. It's a little bit more updated with, again, tips from Joshua Oosters. I play Triple Tour Guide, being easily the best card to start with, or to search later with Skarm. It's kind of difficult because if you normal summon this blind, then you have to have an extender, or it gets ashed and you lose. So it's a good card, but it's risky. Triple Ash being the most generic hand trap this format. I believe this is the only hand trap that I play. Yes, I already cannot remember. I chose not to side actively against the Drytron deck because I knew there weren't going to be a lot of players maining that deck today. And this worked out perfectly because I wasn't never missing a hand trap, because I only played Drytron once and they were in the side deck. Be ready for that. PK lineup. Wrecked Gloves is a new addition to this deck. I kind of stole this from Joshua Oosters. This card is just really good. It works a lot of the time, sending a trap as well. I still play Wings, so this card has a lot of utility. Double Ancient Cloak. Never wanted it to be 3. Triple Storm Skills and triple Boots. This is all pretty standard for the PK lineup, I think. Then we play Double Seer, Double Graph. You don't want to open these cards, which is why I play 2. I like to have 2 for the grind game, and I don't see 3 necessary ever, because then you will just open them, and that's pretty useless, because you don't want to special summon these guys. Double Libic. This is a card I sometimes side out one of out, which was nice, but this card Has helped me a lot. I once summoned Tour Guide with it, and my opponent was like, "What can you do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can," because it summons a level 3 fiend. Overall, this card performed well, just extending double Farfa to continue the 2-2-2-2. 2 is definitely enough. Again, you don't want to like. You want to open like a Burning Abyss, but you don't want to open like these. So 2 of these are completely fine. You need to run it off 1 Call Cup for the background format and a Skarm. I really like Skarm as fodder, because sometimes you already have used your Seer and then you go to your Graph and then you can just summon Skarm and then use that to get Tour Guide. And then next turn so you have a guaranteed kill. I overall really liked Skarm. I liked him as a one-off. Yeah. Overall, these cards are just like minor extenders with Cherubini. There's no real need to open 2 of them, because I play a lot of level 3s already that do the work with a lot of extenders. It's 1 Terror Top. I know this is kind of iffy with the one-off, but Tatsym also can be summoned on the Levier, which happened once this tournament. And Terror Top is just an FTK. Magically, I open Terror Top and Tatsym both together whenever I open Terror Top. It works. Some level 3 extenders, these were pretty nice, they draw. They are not the best. Again, they are just 2 off, so you can really build your deck around it, but it's nice and generic, and you can easily discard this with the Torn skills and get effects and get value. Then I played 1 Wielder and 1 Tracker, and there's no real reason why. You can also play 2 Wielder or something, but I just like these as generic extenders. This came up a lot. I wanted to try Kagamicha Knight, but I decided not to just do it. I like these more because they always can summon. Again, Kagamichas I think only on normal. But these 2 worked perfectly fine. They came up a bunch, and yeah. The triple droplets for the tech in the deck, because of course we have the Drytron and we have the Virtual World. These are decks you cannot ignore. I choose not to like fully go against these decks, but these deck cards have a lot of synergy with your deck. You can set up a Dante with a Farfa underneath it, for example, or just any Link monster, then send it away, and it's very nice. Overall, I really like this card. I do play Foolish, which is sometimes iffy in this deck, but it works for this because you have, of course, the Graph, the Seer, and whenever you need them, you have those. 1 Rota for the PK lineup. This is another card that I sided out a bunch. I also sometimes, when I went first, I sided in like anti-spell, stuff like that, so then I just sided out the Rota and sometimes the Foolish even, or maybe the droplets depending on the deck. I sided the Dangers out a bunch, sometimes these. Most of the time I sided out 1 Libic. I also sided Skarm out a little bit because for going second, there's no real need to search in the end phase. And sometimes I sided out 1 Fogblade, because you can definitely just play with 2. But I main 3 Fogblades. I play 1 Wings to help extending, and I play 1 the Phantom Ritter, the Schattenbrigadine. That's the deck. This is what you set with Bardish most of the time. This is what you use to extend a little bit more. Yeah, deck performed really well. I would not change anything about it really. No, I just generally liked how it played out. And maybe like some more Burning Abyss monsters in there, but I honestly don't know what to cut at this point. For the extra deck, I will sort it out. We played a 1 of Dante. We are playing Dante. We want to mill. We want to get those PKs in the grave for free. 1 Levier to help extending and to get back your Phantom Knights for the next turn. 1 Breaksword, 2 Breaksword. This is for the grind game. The second came up 1 game. It was pretty nice to have. Then the Evil Swarm Nightmare to end your board on. You summon the PK under Bardish. Then Bardish pops the PK. Then you summon 2 left 4 back. You have a Nightmare. Then I wanted to have a second target, which was Time Thief Redoer. There are no real other dark targets, so we kind of have to play this. I summoned this like twice, and it was pretty okay, to be honest. He's pretty strong. He gets like opponent's resources away, which was nice. He once stole like a punishment and stuff. It was really cool. And the 1 of Beatrice. It's, you know, if you open only like 1 BA, then it's very easy to just end on this card. So I still played it in the deck, and it won me a couple of games as well. 1 Cherubini, 1 Nightmare Phoenix for going second. IP Masquerena, which was definitely the key card of my deck. This was the card I'm most focused on, and I will explain later in a couple of cards. 1 Unicorn, also helped playing through stuff. The Bardiche, of course, for the combo, and to pop cards with. Portal Sword Dragon, the Topologic Cerebros. This was the card I opted to play instead of Apollosa. I'm not playing Apollosa in here, which is risky because the deck dies to Nibiru, which is something that I completely understand and accept. If they have Nibiru, they win, but they better have it, and they never had it against me, which is pretty nice, except like once maybe. Overall, I like Cerebros. This card is really scary, removing the entire field, getting away all the resources versus Outlet, stuff like that. I didn't really play the deck, so sadly it never really came up, but the idea is really nice to make it in your opponent's turn, banish a PK, trap summon a PK back, banish everything, which is quite nice. And the last card was the new card, Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. Now this card is insane. This card overperformed for me. I summoned it like 4 to 5 times the entire event. Stealing your opponent's monster with an IP is quite insane, and the effects are all pretty nice too because your opponent cannot target it. It's unaffected by card effects except effects that target it. Now that's really difficult to deal with because IP protects it from destruction by card effect. So what happened a bunch was like my opponent tried to dramatic punishment, then sent Elder Entity in this, and then I said okay, that's fine, and then it resolved and it didn't do anything because it couldn't die. And the graveyard negation effect is MVP versus Eldritch, which is how I won a game versus Max, because this both negates Sanguine, it also negates Ice Dragon Prison, and this card is just really wild. It also negates a Lording Grave. So yeah, that card really overperformed for me, which is the main reason why I wanted to play this deck, and it's super cool to see that it was worked out for me. Then Sidedeck. I play triple stop the ritual deck from playing, but this is basically stop every deck from playing because every deck plays spells. So versus Invoked, Bird Up, I cited this in. 1 reboot, because you have Topologic, you can easily just banish everything. Triple Nibiru, some additional hand trap. Then I played Double Crow as addition to the red reboot to make 15. Then I played Triple Draw, and the last card I played was Lightning Storm. I didn't play any other back row removal. I figured the 3 red reboot and the storms were enough. This technically wasn't. Maybe I'd like to play like Twin Twisters in here instead of the DV Crows or something. But I don't know. I have to test a little bit more with that. But yeah, that is the main deck and extra deck and side deck. So yeah, overall I had a lot of fun today. And yesterday as well. Shoutouts to Card Cult for hosting the Extravaganza. It was a great success. The organization was always great. We never waited for rounds. Started in time and we were done at like 5 o'clock, which was insane. Very fast, very high efficiency. Great guys. I'd love for them to host more Extravaganzas in the future. Further shoutouts, I have to shout out to Team Erica, who was in the Discord with me the entire tournament. Francis actually got 4th and his deck profile is up on my channel. Sadly, some didn't get so far after he went X2, but he's a great duelist still, and he's in the deck profile to give her additional commentary as well. Then, of course, the winner of the event was Joshua Oosters playing Phantom Knights, a little more Phantom Knights, a little less Burning Abyss, and I have his deck profile in the comment section and in the description down below. Be sure to check it out, because that also gives you a lot of insight. And yeah, overall that was pretty much it. I had a lot of fun. All my opponents were very chill. Remodueling was a lot of fun. There were no issues. Yeah, I just had a great time. If you ever have the chance to remote duel, be sure to do it. And I have a pretty nice guide on my channel to help you get started with that. So yeah, if you have any questions about the deck, be sure to let me know down below. It is, of course, the best deck of the format. Just ask Joshua about it and you'll be fine. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.